Hello and welcome. It is Monday, November 2nd, 2020, and this is Truly News. I am your host, Jason Van Sickle. As always, we start the podcast with a quick rundown of the top headlines from the nation's largest newspapers. From USA Today, the world watches as America votes, and polling shows that a large number of Europeans think Trump has done a bad job as president and want to see Biden win. From the Wall Street Journal, one day before the elections, a Wall Street Journal NBC poll shows Biden having a 10-point lead with 52% of the vote compared to Trump's 42% and a narrowing race in swing states. From the New York Times, Trump and Biden both head to Pennsylvania with campaign workers in overdrive as the state is one of the most competitive and therefore crucial to the outcome of tomorrow's election. From the Los Angeles Times, facing possible defeat, Trump's latest ploy is to call for the election to be determined on election night, regardless of whether all mail-in ballots have been received or counted. And from the Washington Post, people are determined to vote this year, and as of Sunday, more than 93 million Americans have voted, representing new records for early voting in almost every state. And here are the stories that are crossing the wire at Reuters News. Republicans lost a legal challenge that they had brought against drive-through voting in Houston, where they had sought to have over 120,000 ballots thrown out. And also from Reuters, a judge has ordered the U.S. Postal Service to follow its own extraordinary measures policy to ensure the delivery of ballots using things like its express mail delivery system. And those are your headlines for today. Now, here is our announcer, Ron Johnson, with a word from today's sponsor.
Today's sponsor is ConfusedWhiteBoys.com. Are you a middle-aged white male who blames your lack of success on the oppression of the man? Or a white suburban teenager who buys luxury jeans too short because you plan to let them sag? If so, then ConfusedWhiteBoys.com is for you. Visit now and get a 20% off coupon for any of our in-stock country rap albums. Thank you to ConfusedWhiteBoys.com for today's sponsorship.
Thank you, Ron. And now we return to today's news. In science news from ScienceNews.com, it was reported that scientists detected phosphine through spectral analysis on Venus. This was a possible sign of life since phosphine is created on Earth by living microbes. However, further research failed to reproduce the detections, which shows how science is supposed to work through discovery, retesting, and proof only if the results are replicable. In technology news, from Popular Science, scientists have developed satellite technologies that will allow the detection of methane leaks that can harm the environment and cause climate change. The satellites have new advanced sensors that can monitor the atmosphere for methane, a technology that was proven to work when one of the first satellites pinpointed a leak in a gas pipeline. In space news, from ScienceNews.com, NASA and the European Space Agency have signed an agreement to partner on the Artemis project. Artemis is NASA's plan to build a moon base, creating the capability to travel to places like Mars. The NASA-ESA agreement expands their partnership beyond the International Space Station to include the new moon-focused space initiatives. And that is your science, technology, and space news for today. Now we take a break from the headlines and lighten the mood with our fake, or maybe true, news of the day, presented by my friend Billy Cunningham. Billy is a comedian that goes by the stage name Potbelly. And here's Billy.
Hello, this is Billy Potbelly Cunningham with today's story. By the way, if you guessed that yesterday's story was true, then you were correct. And now for today's story. Here we go. In Florida, a man entered a polling place requesting a ballot for his wife, saying that she was outside in the car. The worker said that she needed to come inside, but the husband explained that she was in labor on the way to the hospital, but insisted on stopping to vote. The poll worker took her a mail-in ballot, but she said she wanted an actual ballot. Eventually, the woman was allowed to vote in her car in the middle of controlled breathing exercises as a poll worker stood witness. Oh, man. Wow. That's dedication. Well, that is my story for today. And you decide whether you think it is fake or true. Until next time, be kind to others, be good to yourself, and keep on smiling. This is Billy Potbelly Cunningham. Over and out.
Thanks, Billy. And now we return to our review of the day's news. In health news, from Science Daily, recently reported findings in the journal Scientific Reports showed how a program of strength training and aerobic workouts and a twice daily nutritional beverage affected 149 participants. The results were improved physical and mental functioning with exercise and additional benefits with the use of a balanced nutritional supplement. In social news from PBS, here are some facts from the Census Bureau about children living in poverty in the United States. The U.S. defines poverty as a family of three with less than $20,598 in annual income. The poverty rate in the United States is 11.8%. 11.9 million children live in poverty. 73% of children living in poverty are children of color, and 1.9 million children are homeless. In environmental news from the National Science Foundation, a new study published in the journal Communications Biology tracked 2 decades of a species of shellfish in the Gulf of Maine and found warming waters that are causing declines in mussels, barnacles, and snails. This is seen as a worrying sign of the consequences of rising carbon dioxide in Earth's atmosphere that is ultimately absorbed by the oceans. And that is your health, social, and environmental news for today. Now it is time for our Words of Wisdom with philosophy professor Dr. Albert Feinstein. And here is Dr. Feinstein.
Hello and welcome. Today's words of wisdom come from President Theodore Roosevelt, who said, "Believe you can, and you're halfway there." This quote brings up an important point when it comes to the human ability. The greatest obstacle to anyone's success is their own psychology. Doubt is the killer of dreams, but confidence is the source of strength and determination that drives success. Therefore, it is critical that you learn how to believe in yourself and your ability to succeed. You are capable of extraordinary things if you simply believe in yourself. And those are your words of wisdom for today. Until next time, keep seeking wisdom and believing in your incredible potential. Good luck.
Thank you, Dr. Feinstein. We appreciate your words of wisdom and your encouragement. Now we return to our review of the day's news. In economic news from the Wall Street Journal, despite President Trump's efforts to revive the steel industry by placing a 25% tariff on imported steel, the American steel industry has not rebounded. Instead, the tariffs have raised the price of manufacturing in the United States, which has hurt industries like automotive and appliance manufacturers. This raises questions about the use of tariffs. In world news from Reuters, as a new wave of COVID sweeps across Europe, this weekend, Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced a 1-month lockdown in England. Officials warn that the lockdown could be extended across the United Kingdom. The lockdown will start at midnight on Tuesday morning and will last until December 2nd, affecting non-essential businesses. And that is your economic and world news for today. In entertainment news, we start with new movies, and today's movie is The Craft Legacy, starring Kaylee Spaney, Zoe Luna, and Gildan Adlon. This movie falls into the categories of drama, fantasy, and horror. And here's the description from IMDb. In a sequel to the 1996 film The Craft, this movie is about a group of high school students who form a coven of witches. The Craft Legacy is now available for rent on YouTube. Moving on, in newly released shows, today's show is Social Distance, starring Brian Jordan Alvarez, Becky Ann Baker, and Asante Black. This series falls under the categories of comedy and drama. And here is the description from IMDb. Shot in isolation, this tragicomic anthology series features both dark and funny takes on how people strive to stay connected while staying apart. Episodes of Social Distance are now available on Netflix. Finally, in entertainment news, we look at newly published books. And our book for today is One Vote Away by Ted Cruz. This book is presently number 5 on the New York Times nonfiction bestseller list. And here is a summary from Amazon. In One Vote Away by Senator Ted Cruz, you will discover how often the high court decisions that affect your life have been decided by just one vote. One Vote Away is now available at your local bookstore and in print, audiobook, and Kindle formats on Amazon. And that is your entertainment news for today. As always, we end our broadcast with Hope for Humanity, stories about the goodness and kindness that people show each other every day. And here is today's story. From the Tallahassee Democrat, a woman writes that she was in the McDonald's drive-thru when she realized she was behind an old pickup truck with huge Trump flags and Confederate bumper stickers. Seeing a chance to make fun of the political opposition on Facebook, she snapped a picture. However, when she reached the window, she found that the man with the scraggly beard had paid for her order. She had also seen that he got several Happy Meals for his order and realized he must be a dad. The incident made her stop and think that maybe we should all be slower to judge each other during this time of heightened politics and emotions. And that is your news for November 2nd, 2020. Have a wonderful day.